Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now March 10th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans have been very much curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly how Disney and of course Lucasfilm are going to handle the new Star Wars universe that's being developed as we speak. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Star Wars in general that really is pretty much apparent at this point is that it's a very delicate franchise, given the fact that a lot of fans are quite divided since the release of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Since then, a lot of fans have been very much worried about exactly how Disney is going to really treat the Star Wars franchise moving throughout this entire decade. Now, obviously, the franchise seems to be quite expansive with the books, the novels, the comics, etc. That's really going to make up this new EU, as well as TV shows, movies, you name it, among other projects as well, like video games, etc. Now, the thing about The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker is that Disney is, of course, introducing many different retcons to these particular movies. Not so much with The Force Awakens, but really with The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I'm sure that you guys heard about the major retcons to Episode 9, such as Palpatine was a clone all along, and that Rey's father is really a clone of Palpatine, but is still considered to be the son of Emperor Palpatine based on how the genes were done by the Sith cultists on Exegol. So, very interesting stuff. Another major retcon to The Rise of Skywalker was that the Snoke clones are actually all failed Palpatine clones. Now, with that being said, what's really intriguing about The Last Jedi is that now that The Rise of Skywalker is out in theaters, many fans around the world have been very excited and worried about the future of Star Wars by Disney and Lucasfilm. Now, currently, Disney and Lucasfilm are developing their new Star Wars universe, and along with this, the new universe, many retcons will be made to the sequel trilogy films by Disney in order to change how the fans view primarily The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. It's explained that one of the major changes coming to the sequel trilogy has to do with The Last Jedi and a novel that is being written that will be released sometime later this year that will retcon the ending of the film and Luke Skywalker's death. It's explained that one of the major retcons being made for The Last Jedi is that Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost was the one responsible to teaching Luke Skywalker the Force projection technique before Rey arrived on Ahch-To, and that while Luke was using this technique at the very end of the film against Kylo Ren on Crate, Anakin was assisting his son Luke to using this ability against his own nephew, and that later on, toward the ending of the film, it will eventually be established that the Force Ghosts of Anakin, Yoda, and Obi-Wan would assist Luke Skywalker to letting go and becoming one with the Force, and teaching him during his last few breaths on how to become a part of the netherworld of the Force. It's noted that this novel that is in the early works will establish that the voices of his masters were speaking to Luke while he was looking at the binary sunset on Ahch-To toward the very end of the movie, where this retcon is said to make Luke's death a bit more meaningful, and that this power ended up draining Luke's life force because the power is rooted from the netherworld of the Force that was discovered by the ancient Jedi and created by the Wills. It's said that Disney wants to establish that both Kylo Ren / Ben Solo and Luke Skywalker died in a very similar way by their life force draining from their bodies. So the thing about this that's really intriguing to me the most is that they really want to offer a true explanation as to exactly why Luke Skywalker died at the very end of Episode 8, is because this power was so intense, because it's actually a power from the Wills that was actually created by these godlike beings that can actually allow a Force user to project a double of themselves, an image if you will, from across the entire galaxy. And that this power was picked up by the ancient Jedi that was established into those books that Luke Skywalker owns on his, of course, time on Ahch-To. Now, obviously, Luke Skywalker was able to translate some of the texts, and he didn't get to all of the books, and this was actually done through the help of the Force Ghosts like Anakin, Yoda, and Kenobi. Now, the thing that really stands out to me a lot here is the fact that when you look at everything related to The Last Jedi, it seems like all these different retcons are exactly what should have been established in the actual movie. How amazing would it have been if Luke Skywalker was using this ability and you got to see the Force ghosts of Anakin, Yoda, and Kenobi behind Luke, or maybe even at minimum, just hearing their voices telling Luke to let go. Now this also kind of ties directly into the novelization of The Last Jedi, where Luke believes he hears a familiar voice telling him, "Let go, Luke." And I believe that that lines directly up with Obi-Wan Kenobi's voice, without a doubt, because that's kind of what he says in Star Wars A New Hope when he's flying his X-Wing in the Death Star trench run. So, when we look at everything here, Disney's obviously trying to do their very best at these retcons to making Luke's death a little bit more meaningful. So let me know what you guys think about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.